If you walked into a Catholic church 500 years ago, you might feel like you stepped into another world. Not just older, not just more decorated, but something completely different. The space would not feel open and clear like many churches today. Instead, it would feel layered, divided, and mysterious. You would not see everything at once. You would have to look carefully. Sometimes you would only hear what was happening. Sometimes you would only catch a glimpse. That was not a mistake. It was intentional. Today, most churches are designed so that everything is visible. You can see the altar clearly. You can follow the Mass without obstacles. The space feels welcoming and easy to understand. But in the past, the church often chose the opposite approach. The sacred was hidden, protected, and slowly revealed. The building itself was teaching something. It was guiding how people experienced God. Over time, many of these features disappeared. Some were removed during reforms. Some were changed because of new ideas. Others simply faded away as styles changed. What remains today are only traces, small hints in old walls, or forgotten corners that no longer serve their original purpose. So let's take a journey into the lost architecture of the Catholic Church. 8 features that once shaped how people experienced faith, but are now mostly gone. As we go through them, ask yourself this question. Are we better off without them, or did they give us something we no longer have? Stay with me until the end, because the final one may completely change how you think about what a church is meant to be. Number 8. The hyoscope, also called the squint. Imagine standing inside a church, but you cannot see the altar. There are large pillars in the way. There are walls dividing the space. The most important moment of the Mass is happening, but your view is blocked. Today, that would feel frustrating. But in the Middle Ages, this was very common. To solve this, small angled openings were cut into walls and pillars. These were called squints. They were not large windows. They were small, narrow holes, carefully placed so that a person could look through them and see the altar from a distance. But they were not only for convenience. They also served deeper purposes. In some cases, people who were not allowed inside the church, such as those who were sick, would stand outside and look through these openings to follow the Mass. In other cases, they allowed people inside chapels to stay connected to the main altar. It created a powerful image. You were not always fully inside. Sometimes you were looking in from the edge. It reminded people that the sacred was not something to take lightly. Today, with open layouts and clear views, the need for something like this has disappeared. Number 7. The sedilia. Near the altar in many old churches, there were stone seats built directly into the wall. These were not random decorations. They were called sedilia, and they had a very specific purpose. During long masses, the priest and his assistants needed a place to sit, but even sitting was structured. The seats were arranged like steps. The highest seat was closest to the altar and belonged to the priest. The lower seats were for others who assisted him. This design showed something important. The church had order. Every role had a place. Even something as simple as sitting reflected that order. Today, you will usually see chairs instead. Simple, movable, and practical. The idea of built-in seating that reflects hierarchy has mostly disappeared. It is another example of moving from something symbolic to something functional. Number 6. The pulpit. Before microphones and speakers, if a priest wanted to speak to a large crowd, he needed help. That help came in the form of the pulpit. This was a raised platform, often attached to a pillar or wall, high above the people. From there, his voice could travel further. But it was not just about sound. The pulpit also made a statement. When the priest stood above the crowd, it showed that he was teaching, that his words carried authority. Many pulpits were beautifully designed, with carvings and a small canopy. Above them, that canopy helped direct the sound, but it also made the space feel special. Today, most churches use a simple stand called an ambo. It is close to the people, does the job without drawing too much attention. The pulpit, once a central feature, is now mostly gone, except in older churches. Number 5. The rood screen. This is one of the most important lost features. The rood screen was a barrier that separated the main part of the church from the sanctuary. Where the altar stood, it was not a solid wall. It was often made of wood or stone with openings. People could see through it, but they could not pass through freely. The meaning was clear. The sanctuary was holy, was set apart. The space where the priest stood was not the same as where the people stood. Above the screen, there was often a large cross. This created a strong message. The way from the world to the sacred passes through the cross. Over time, many of these screens were removed. The church moved toward a more open design where the people feel closer to the altar. In doing so, the clear visual separation between sacred and ordinary space became less visible. Number 4. The Lenten veil. There was a time when, during the season of Lent, the altar would disappear. Not physically, but visually. A large curtain would be placed between the people and the sanctuary for 40 days. The most important part of the church was hidden. This created a feeling of absence, a feeling of longing. People could hear the Mass, but they could not see it. It made Easter more powerful because when the veil was removed, the beauty returned. In some places, these veils were simple. In others, they were decorated with images that told stories from the Bible. Today, this practice is mostly gone. Some churches cover statues, but the idea of hiding the entire altar has almost disappeared. The sense of waiting and longing is no longer expressed in the same physical way. Number 3. The Doom painting. Imagine walking toward the altar and seeing a massive painting of the final judgment above you. This was the Doom painting. It showed heaven on one side and hell on the other, angels leading souls upward, demons pulling others. Down, at the center, Christ as judge. This was not meant to scare people for no reason. It was meant to remind them. Every action matters. Every choice has meaning. As people moved toward the altar, they passed under this image. It was like a doorway, a reminder that approaching God is something serious. Over time, many of these paintings were covered or removed. Some felt they were too intense. Today, only a few remain visible. Number 2. The hanging pikes. Today, the Eucharist is usually kept in a tabernacle on or near the altar. But in the past, it was often suspended in the air. A small container called a pyx would hang from the ceiling above the altar. It could be raised or lowered using a cord. This created a powerful image. The presence of Christ was not just placed somewhere, it was elevated. Almost like it was coming down from heaven. It also served practical purposes, protected the Eucharist from animals and theft. After changes in church practice, this method was replaced by the tabernacle. The hanging pyx disappeared, leaving behind only stories and rare examples. Number 1. The anchor hold. This is perhaps the most striking of all. Attached to some churches was a small room, often made of stone. Thence lived a person called an anchorite. This person chose to live in complete solitude. They did not leave the room. The room had small openings. One allowed them to see the altar. One allowed people to speak with them. Another allowed food to be passed in. In a special ceremony, they were considered dead to the world. Their life was now fully dedicated to prayer, but they were not forgotten. People came to them for advice, for prayers, for guidance. They were hidden, yet deeply connected to the community. One of the most well-known was Julian of Norwich, who lived this life and wrote about her spiritual experiences. Today, this way of life is almost completely gone. The idea of being physically attached to a church in total isolation is something most people cannot even imagine. So what do all these lost features tell us? They show us that the church once used space in a very different way. Walls, screens, curtains, and even small openings were not just practical. They were meaningful. They shaped how people felt, how they prayed, and how they understood the sacred. Today, churches are more open, more direct, easier to navigate. This helps people feel included and connected, but at the same time, something quieter has faded. The sense of mystery. The feeling that not everything is meant to be seen at once. The idea that the sacred is something you approach slowly with care. Maybe both ways have value. Maybe the past and the present are teaching us different lessons. Now, I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think these lost features should remain in history, or do you think some of them should return in modern churches? If you found this journey interesting and want to explore more hidden stories like this, stay connected and keep watching.